Welcome to the Djellab channel and welcome to a brand new show called The Top 6. I've got some brilliant football YouTubers and TikTokers on this video here today. I'm introducing them. We'll start with James Alcott. How you doing, buddy?
It's nice to be in the top 6.
Yeah, welcome. Things are changing. Things are changing. How have you been?
I'm good, really good, really good. Yeah, excited to rank from 1 to 5. I presume it's that kind of
might be
format.
a couple more. Might be a couple more than 1 to 5. Rory, how you doing, my friend? Rory Jennings?
I'm feeling slightly intimidated.
By me or
No, just by
Boothie or
me.
Sitting next to somebody with such glorious football knowledge is very difficult.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Boothie. Lawrence, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, I'm very lucky to be in the privilege of Tom Garrett. He played Power League in Florida once.
Talking about Power League, Tom Garrett. Then how you doing?
I've been better after the weekend, but yeah.
Yes,
I'm glad
it's
to
a
be
shot
here.
off the Wolves, West Brom.
We don't care about the cup
Somebody got
anyway.
smashed.
We're focusing on the league, so it don't matter.
Exactly. Henners, Henry Hill of FD fame. How you doing?
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to argue, here to debate.
I like it.
I haven't shared the stage with many of you before. You're going to remember this.
I love that.
Zach, Rory just did this.
No, Rory's only used a smaller one.
It's really small as well. It's 1 millimetre long.
I'll blur that. I'll have the blur that. Brilliant. Keir, how you doing, mate?
I'm good. Just returned from Jamaica, so
Wagwan.
pretty high.
Well, good, because you'll need this. Now, the way it's going to work, ladies and gentlemen at home, we're going to have 5 rounds where the guys are going to compete against each other. At the end of every single round and after every question, I will give out some points on who I think argued their point best. Whoever at the end of every round has the lowest total points will be kicked off the show. It's as easy as that. Without further ado, let's get on with it. So question number 1, lads. Are these players overrated or underrated? They're the 2 answers you can only put, not just rated. Moises Caicedo. Rory went very quickly there. Mohammed Salah and Bukayo Saka.
Are there 2 R's in overrated?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering as well.
There is.
Yeah.
Basic GCSE, innit?
I only know X and G.
Basic O levels.
You can just put over and under.
O levels, how old are you?
I was talking
Older
about
than
you.
me.
I was talking about you.
Oh, right, oh, good, you've done me.
All right, 3, 2, 1, reveal your boards. Okay, so Rory and Boothie have the exact same. James has
I wrote
Saka
before you.
as underrated. Tom has them all overrated.
Well done. Me
Saka
too.
is overrated for Henry and underrated for Caicedo. And Kieran also thinks everyone is overrated. Kieran, you go first, and then Tom, you can maybe jump on.
Well, Salah, great, love him, but it's just sort of like, at least now it feels a bit overrated. Just feel like he's scoring, but he's not grabbing me. So I would consider that overrated. Wow. Saka, I don't know, do something important for once in your life. Caicedo. Pretty similar, just sort of, are Chelsea doing anything? Yeah, Aguero was overrated as well. Just how much was he?
115 million, I think, wasn't he?
Too much.
Fair enough. Tom, why do you think they were all overrated?
Yeah, Caicedo, what was he, 115 million? He had 1 good season in the Prem. He's come to Chelsea and, okay, he's doing all right, but Chelsea is shocking. He should be standing out, in my opinion. Conor Gallagher looks their best midfielder and he's played for our club. He's an average footballer, in my opinion. Caicedo doesn't even look better than him. Salah, yeah, brilliant, goals, assists, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's fantastic. Does anyone wake up and, like, think, oh, Liverpool are playing today? Yes, I get to watch Mo Salah. And he's been spoke about the best winger in Premier history. Like, do people forget about Ronaldo? Even the likes of Robben and, like, outside of that, Ribery, Bale, like, worldwide.
Does that make him overrated, though?
Yes, because he's been spoke about like the best winger in Prem history, and that is scandalous. Absolutely scandalous. Like I said, I don't enjoy watching him play. Brilliant, he can score a few penalties and the odd tapping and the odd wonder goal that comes off his bunion, whatever.
Oh, this is a car crash. If you're giving points for a car crash, this is great.
And then, again, similar with Saka. By the way, I think Salah is the best right winger in the Prem right now.
Make your mind up, mate.
But
what's going on?
But to be spoken about the best winger in Premier history is scandalous. Or one of the best players in the world. How bad is football if he's the best in the world now? And then Saka, I actually rate Saka. I think he's decent, but he's not world class, which is what I keep getting told. Therefore, he's overrated. He just isn't world class, is he? He doesn't show up when Arsenal really, really need him, in my opinion. penalties against West Ham, which could have helped them win the league, where he poops his pants. You could say that about England as well, which I know that does sound harsh, but I just think, just take a man on for once.
But if the manager tell him not to do that, is that his fault?
Yeah. What is he? He's not a robot. Good. This is what I mean. Like,
But modern football, Garrett, you need, obviously you won't understand about this, obviously being a West Brom fan, but the top level of modern football is, if you don't play Guardiola's system, you don't get in the team. Thierry Henry found that out when he went to Barcelona.
He did,
though. I just want you to note that I've counter-argued.
Don't worry about me. I'll be.
And you need to deduct points.
Don't need to be a teacher's pet.
You haven't argued one point. You just got modern football, Pep, blah, and then Henry didn't play for Pep, and he did play for Pep.
No, he got dropped. I made the point that Henry got dropped for not following Guardiola's system.
No, he didn't. He got taken off in one game.
He got dropped.
You've seen one clip of Henry saying
he got dropped like you did in Paraleague Florida.
We're talking rubbish.
Okay, Rory, you've gone for, obviously, Salah is underrated.
Yeah, almost off the back of that conversation, really.
Yeah.
I think the point that I would make with regards to Salah, all you have to do is listen to the way that he's appreciated by some. I would say that when you think about the glorious players that have ever played for Liverpool, like go back eras, like the best forwards that they've ever had. Go back all the way, you go Roger Hunt if you want, right? And then you can come right through St. John, Ian Rush, go all the way through.
He's a striker.
Mohammed Salah would be in an all-time Liverpool 11. When you think about the strikers that have played for that club...
He's not a striker.
Mohammed Salah would be in an all-time Liverpool 11.
I don't think he would.
Oh, he would definitely be.
Ask Liverpool fans, I don't think he would.
And the fact that Mohammed Salah would be in... When you think about the glorious forwards that have played for Liverpool over the years, right, in their history, some of the best forwards who have ever played the game have played for Liverpool. Doesn't matter whether it's Dalglish.
There's no way he's getting in an all-time 11 over Dalglish or
Luis Suarez.
There's no way that he's being left out of the Liverpool 11.
The problem with all-time 11s now is, like, you know, there's 4-3-3, there's 4-4-2, whatever. Even in a 4-4-2, you find a way to get Salah in that, because year after year after year, and this is why he's underrated.
Jermaine Pennant?
The reason, oh my word! I mean, for the video alone, put him through. I get it, but he is so underrated at this point, because it's got to a point where, and again, Tom said, goals, assists, blah, blah, blah. That's what it's about. And year after year after year.
To me, football isn't about that. They're all about
that's
that.
exactly what football's about.
Do you wake up and think, yes, Salah's playing today, I can't wait to watch him?
But do you know what?
That's not what we're talking about.
Have you ever left the ground and gone, wow, after watching Salah? I haven't.
It's weird to be sneering at
I'm not
goals.
sneering.
But I think that's why he's underrated, for that reason.
No, I think he's amazing. I think Salah is amazing.
Of all the currency in
he's
football,
not,
right? The currency in football, goals are the most valuable currency in football.
He is the best winger in the Premier League.
Ronaldo, what a Ballon d'Or. By far the best player in the world.
He's not the best winger
in the Premier League. Playing in the Premier League, Salah's...
I know you don't like numbers. Hazard's a far better footballer than Salah, so was Bale.
No, but that's clever wording.
Yeah,
you're trying to be
going with
funny
specific
there.
moments. In terms of output...
No, you're trying to be clever. Because you didn't say better player, you specifically said footballer, knowing that...
Okay, he's a better player. What's the difference?
So hang on. Tom.
They're all playing football. They're better footballers than Salah.
No, but when you say...
What do you mean? Because I mean a player like out on the pool.
Tom, if you've got to pick a winger, let's take Ronaldo out of it for a second, because I think the thing you would do with Salah and Ronaldo is you go with Salah, there's such a bigger sort of base of data there, time period there, right? Say Hazard that was there for a very long time. As good as Hazard is, if you get to pick teams and you've got to play some, you've got to pick one of those two. You pick Salah every time because he scores so many more goals than everyone all the time.
Hazard could do what Salah does, but he didn't. He used to drop in and run games.
Mohammed Salah
run a game like Hazard could.
No, that's true. But again, that's moving the goalpost.
No, I'm saying Hazard could do what Salah does.
Just to demonstrate the difference of the two in the Premier League. And look, I love Hazard. Obviously, Hazard had a year off at Chelsea.
That's how good he was.
That's how good he was. He had a year off.
No. He basically had a lazy year off where he didn't like the manager, didn't play for Chelsea. Salah's barely had a game off.
Okay.
Let's get back to...
Go on, Henners. I actually want to... Henners, you've not said anything yet.
You like that point, didn't you?
Say it.
Say what?
Say it that you like his point.
Let's get back to the crux of it.
Go on, Henners.
Underrated or overrated? Everything you've said has just validated the fact that he is underrated year in, year out. They even gave him that mega contract extension. How many times have we seen that go wrong? Handing sort of an aging player a mega contract. He's still the top scorer in the Premier League as we speak at the moment. He is unbelievable. He's part of a team that helped Liverpool win the league, win the Champions League, get to other finals as well. Like, I do not know how you can look at Mohammed Salah, everything he's achieved, and not say this is one of the all-time greats. And regardless of whether he is part of that package, he's definitely underrated in the sphere of like fans watching on. He's an unbelievable footballer, and he does it. And I think the fact that
he's not an unbelievable footballer.
Well, and yet he still puts up these numbers, and yet he's still like, where are these goals coming from then? Where are these assists coming from? If he's not an unbelievable
Luca Toni was the top scorer in 2006. He's an unbelievable footballer.
You say like, oh, Kevin Phillips won the Golden Ball.
Exactly, precisely.
No, but Salah's done it. Salah's done it for half a decade. Over half a decade.
Don't care.
Okay.
Luca Toni was silky as well, man. Don't slag off Luca Toni, man. He's silky, man.
Okay,
is Salah the top scorer in the league? Is Haaland the top scorer?
They're both.
They're
joint. Okay, just checking.
Especially when this video goes out as well, it might have changed. By
Can I just say, I would have put fairly rated, but I had to choose one.
He does. That's the whole point.
I'll let you rowing back on it. He already knows he's wrong.
It's my fault.
I'll move this on to Caicedo.
Go ahead. Who else has him underrated?
Who, Caicedo?
Yeah. Headers versus everyone, mate.
Right, fine. Let's have it.
Let's have it.
There's a deep breath.
Yeah, here we go. Right, bring it.
I still think that let's remove the transfer fee because that is not his fault.
Can we do that? Are we allowed to do that?
But that's a huge. Hang on. If you do that, that's moving. Then maybe everybody changes.
I'm talking about
if he was
the player.
If he cost 1 million, then
Underrated.
Yeah. But go on.
Right.
Here you go.
Give me a chance.
Yeah.
I still think, yes, he's had a very tricky time at Chelsea this year. Then again, who hasn't had a tricky time at Chelsea? I think you've got to look at the wider context of that team. He hasn't also got that much competition in central midfield. And I think that's where depth they need to improve. The guy they bought in from, was it Strasbourg this year, hasn't quite, or is it Rennes, hasn't quite lived up to expectations.
Oh, Ugochukwu.
Yeah, and I just think that there's not the system there which is pushing him on to a certain level. And I think he's just been caught up in the general kind of malaise of Chelsea Football Club and the difficulties because they're all suffering. You can't just say that every single one of those players is bad.
Because Cole Palmer's landed and
Gallagher's had good games. He meant to be the star man of that team. Do something yourself.
I think you've got to look at the attributes of Caicedo. His work rate is decent. He's got good energy. Of course he does, but you expect that from a League Two footballer. Is he good on the ball in controlling midfield? No. Does he get goals? No. He's got experience. No, he hasn't got the physicality, in my opinion, in terms of pure.
Wasn't a get goals player either.
But you look at modern the modern midfields of Arsenal and Man City, the Rodris of the world, the Declan Rices of the world. He's never going to have that stature. Yeah, he'll be more diminutive and quick around the pitch, but he'll never be world class.
Also massively switched off as well. Like there've been moments where, say Middlesbrough away when we went up to the Riverside in the Cup, they won the game 1-0 because Caicedo didn't bother marking his man. Yeah. Like there've been moments, and to say, on trying to summarise Caicedo, to go if we don't bring in the transfer fee. Part of the reason that he is rated, part of the reason that we can deduce how highly he's rated, is because of the amount of money that was paid for him. So the money has to come into it. We can't say because if he costs Chelsea £1 million, then I'd say he's underrated.
Yeah, and if you think of say like Arsenal, people saying they need a striker to sort of help them, right? Declan Rice has come in for over 100 mil, whatever it was, right? And people going, he's worth it because his performance has been good enough in a team.
And all that.
And I think the thing with Chelsea, yes, they don't have the striker, but they do have the ball a lot. And he is in a midfield with another guy who's cost 100 mil as well, for whatever reason. It should be better than it is, and he should be better than he has been.
100%.
Okay, Keir, anything to add?
No, I don't like him.
Okay. Okay, last one, Bukayo Saka. Who has him as underrated?
The reason I have him underrated is that he is still so young. He's played so many games. I think if you're focusing on a couple of missed penalties, that's a kick.
But your age, he goes missing in as well a lot.
But also, when you're trying to decide whether he's overrated or underrated, his age is irrelevant, isn't it?
I would say name someone who's better than him at his age.
No, but that doesn't mean anything. I think football's in a bit of a weird period.
I think he's underrated at the moment because people. I think he's underrated at the moment because people are feeling a bit funny about him because Arsenal have gone through a 5-6 game spell where they've not been scoring lots of goals. But he is the expectations on him are there because he's been brilliant for years and he's still so young.
Do you know why I think you can really judge how overrated he is? The fact that there isn't even a conversation. And now I'm not saying that he shouldn't start for England, but there isn't a conversation about whether he should. His place in the team is as secure.
Because he's been brilliant for England.
He has, absolutely. But he hasn't been brilliant for Arsenal. And Jared Bowen, for example, has been brilliant for West Ham. Phil Foden could potentially play on that side to accommodate him. But there isn't even that conversation. I think that the fact that that conversation doesn't even happen.
I think that might change by the end of the season.
But that shows how overrated he is today.
I think modern football's in a weird period where someone like Saka can be one of the best players at Arsenal. I think he barely makes the bench in the 98 side. Do you know what I mean? I think would he be first sub coming off the bench? No way.
What, in Arsenal's 98 team?
Yeah, does he start? He doesn't start for them, and he wouldn't.
That's why
that team won the double.
What's that? But for you to say that for me is why he's underrated. Because the thing with him now in a team that is, look, they're not in the greatest place when we're recording, right? But they are still in the title race. They put themselves into a place where they're in the title race last year, and he is, for most people, at the very least in the top 3 of those players in that team, and he scores goals and assists.
Yeah, but it says that modern football hasn't got a lot of incredible characters. 20 years ago, every side had amazing players.
But I mean,
someone like Wayne Rooney came through and stuff like that.
But James, I'm guessing he's got good stats this season, hasn't he? I'm guessing he's probably got quite a few goals and assists.
No, he doesn't, mate. He's got terrible ones.
Well, no. The reason I'm saying that is because when I watched him most games, he's been rubbish. Like,
it's the eye
he's
test,
gone hiding. I don't know. He doesn't seem to be.
Is he world class, James?
Is it? Well, I guess this is the thing. I think will he? At the end of his career, will he be seen as a world-class player?
Is he world-class right now?
I love that. I love
it's
that. You've asked a great question, but I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to answer a different question.
It's very Tony Blair, Zach. I think he gets a minus point for that.
That could be a minus point because that was brilliant.
I'll take one from you.
Good question, but I'm not answering that question. I'm going to answer a different question.
Is he world-class right now?
Is he world-class right now?
When we look back on his career in 10 years, and we ask
he's not world-class right now, but you're focusing on the form of the last 2 months.
No, I'm focusing on the fact
Has he been world class over the last 2 years?
But Arsenal
has he been world class over the last 2 years?
No.
I think he has.
What, he started for Man City?
He scored like 19 goals last year.
That's why he's
overrated.
Henners and Kieran, anything?
Yeah, I just think that Arsenal are blatantly missing a world-class. If he was this world-class player, which we're often told by Arsenal fans, then to be fair, Arsenal are still doing pretty well. Their attack would score way more goals, and he would be way more pivotal in that side. I don't think he puts up the numbers like Salah does, which is necessary to be considered world-class. Well, he is world-class. so
Salah and Saka had the same amount of goals last year.
When you look at that Arsenal side and you think, what do they need in this January window? Everyone's saying they just need like a world-class forward. Because once they get a world-class forward through the door, then they're definitely in this title race, as opposed to sort of flittering in every now and then. Saka is meant to be, according to what we hear, the world-class guy. I'm not sure I see it week in, week out.
Okay. Here, any last mentions?
Well, it's sort of based on my Twitter, where I see is Saka versus Foden. And it just feels
Foden's better.
Well, it's just more just like it's like moments, isn't it?
They're different players.
It's all about moments, but that's all I see. And then so I feel like he's vastly overrated by everyone I see.
Age, isn't it? I think.
And then, but ultimately, Phil Foden is clear in absolutely everything.
Yeah, spot
on. Okay. All right.
What are you? Some sort of
the score on the doors. Taking home 6 points.
Thank you.
James.
Oh, you are joking.
Come on.
That's his reputation that's running that.
Taking 5 points.
It's just pure reputation.
Thank you.
Rory.
Fuck off.
No, I like that as well.
Taking 4 points. Tom.
Yes. Well done.
3 for Henry.
I think you should have been higher myself.
2 for Boothie. 1 for Kieran. I'm really sorry, Kieran. After that round, my friends, you can take your seat.
Good. Can I go home?
No. All right, guys. The second question here. Rank these 5 managers from best to worst. Jose Mourinho, Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, Alex Ferguson, and Arsene Wenger.
I think this is so straightforward. I just think there's a right answer to this.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Jesus.
Again, the way the points are awarded isn't necessarily if I think you're right or wrong, just if I think you've argued you point well.
Wow. You're going to love this when you see his board.
It's not that different to yours, is it?
That's crazy.
Well, we'll find out.
3, 2, 1, reveal. Alex at the top, Guardiola. So Guardiola at the top, Alex first.
So Alex Ferguson third.
He's got Jurgen Klopp second.
Wow.
Okay,
Recency bias match?
You've been speaking,
Henners.
mate. You were the football daily guru of knowledge. What on
We
earth
should
is
redo
happening?
the video from earlier.
I did say we should do that at the start.
It's getting a line.
I actually...
You can change quickly.
No, you can't. No.
I wasn't... Well, listen, Jurgen Klopp is my favourite manager that I've ever seen in the Premier League. I just think that the energy he brings, I think what he's done in multiple different teams, Even like in his early days, like his impressiveness at Mainz coming up, and then
Remember that, Rory? Remember his
Big fan of
impressiveness
that.
at
That was my favourite era of the Klopp era.
We're saying best managers of all time. You just said Mainz.
Hey, man's got something somewhere.
And then when he did a
Thought they were
Borussia
a real football
Dortmund,
channel,
then when he did a Borussia Dortmund, we've seen how hard it is to win the Bundesliga in this era of Bayern Munich, and he's like basically the last manager that are able to do that. And then what he's done with this Liverpool side to keep pace with arguably the greatest Premier League side we've ever seen in Pep Guardiola's Man City. For them to have hit the levels that they've had over the last few years, I think is insane.
That's one
I
league
think
title.
he could win a second Premier League this year. I wouldn't be stunned if that happens. I think like at one point, like Sir Alex, he was at United for so long that like literally he was God there, and quite rightly. Like he was obviously incredible. But I just think like the versatility Klopp has shown going to multiple different leagues and performing. I think
Rory is going to explode.
Everything that you said about Klopp and Mainz, surely that's applicable to Sir Alex Ferguson, Aberdeen. Destabilising the old firm, winning European silverware. Surely that's more impressive than winning the league.
Henry, mate, that is atrocious, the Klopp shout.
The Mainz shout's bad, man.
Hang on. Aberdeen.
You're the only one with Sir Alex first, by the way. Everyone else is Pep.
Everybody else is wrong.
Pep.
Everybody else
That's
is
crazy.
Everybody else is
Very
wrong.
close.
It's not close.
It's
just
very
not
close.
It's not close.
It is.
I think it's
not
close.
He's had arguably the two best sides of all time.
I don't think
under
it's
his wing. Like
Well, Guardiola beat
the
Ferguson
Barca
twice.
team and the City team from last season.
I still think that Klopp is
Guardiola.
operating.
Yeah.
I think Klopp is
Absolutely.
operating in a more professional era, like a higher standard of football.
Yeah.
Like the era that Klopp is operating in is far greater. Like the sports science, everything that goes into
But the sports
And,
science
like,
benefits
the tactics that Klopp is having to come up against week in, week out, I still think that's greater than what Sir Alex had to come up against.
You've got more staff, you've got more technology. Players on his ass.
The
He
steeriness
won
to a
13
bygone.
league titles.
He won 13 league titles and he destabilised the old firm. The old firm have a duopoly on that title.
One in Europe with Aberdeen.
And Ferguson had to do it over 3 generations.
I also think like Klopp literally invented a style of football, like the whole Gegenpress.
And with that, what's he
literally-
done? He won 2 league titles in Germany and 1 in England.
But he
He's
would have won
3
more.
league titles.
He would have won
Fergie
more
won
in
3
the.
in a row.
He would have won
multiple
more
times.
here if it
Even two
wasn't
at
for him.
Dortmund or
He
what?
would have won more here if it wasn't for him.
One, but he won a
I
pot.
am appalled at the Sir Alex Ferguson third shout. I really am.
That's
Below
bad.
Klopp,
To me, these can be.
I
He might
mean,
have won a few league
that-
titles here and there.
everything that's applicable to Klopp, if you want to bring up Mainz and Dortmund, is applicable to Sir Alex Ferguson because you bring up Aberdeen.
He is
That's
right.
better at Aberdeen.
Aberdeen's
better than
He
Mainz.
was better.
What happened there?
To rob the old firm of the league up there is huge.
Didn't he win a European
You won in
title?
Europe.
Yeah.
Aberdeen
Real
won a
Madrid,
European.
didn't
Yeah.
Talk to me why he's better than Pep then.
Sir Alex Ferguson is undoubtedly better than Pep, partly because he hasn't gone into every single club that he's gone into as the best. He's built teams
Barcelona weren't the best.
from the ground up. Sir Alex Ferguson is non-negotiably number one here. If you look at what he did, reimagining himself, reinventing himself, reimagining his team, reinventing his team, it went on and on and on with Sir Alex Ferguson. And the fact that there is even a conversation about this, to be totally frank, I find rather offensive.
It's so close though. It's so ultimately.
isn't
Can I
close.
at least explain? Ferguson lost 2 Champions League finals. Who to? Guardiola sides. Guardiola's lost less Champions League finals than Ferguson. I think if you put Guardiola at Man City for the same amount of time as Ferguson, you'd be getting close to 13 league titles. He's not far behind already. The style of play is better. Never seen 100 points before in a season. Never seen. He's won 2 trebles. Ferguson's only won 1. 2 trebles. The first in Spain and the second in England.
I would
Ferguson's nowhere
contest.
near.
I would contest whether the style of football is better.
What?
I think there's far more than one way to play football, and simply ball retention, knocking it around, looking after the ball, protecting the ball, isn't necessarily the only way to play.
That style beat
That
Fergie twice.
hasn't been Pep's only style.
I think the way
it's not, exactly.
I think the way that Sir Alex Ferguson played was also pulsating, brilliant football. I think that the team that he built, particularly that team
Ferguson
that won
just
the
used to
treble,
sign the best players from everyone else in the league, like
And
what
he-
Bayern do.
and develop the best players in the league as well.
Well,
Pep did that as well.
Well, I don't know. I think Pep's a better recruiter as well.
You
a
could
better
argue that
coach.
Pep's philosophy helped Spain win 3 trophies in a row. A
Yeah.
Euros, a World Cup and a Euros.
Anything to add?
I put Guardiola.
You're better than this.
It's tough.
What have you done?
It's tough.
It is tough though. It's very close.
What have you done?
It's close.
So,
Mate,
is
what
it?
the hell have you done?
So the reason I put Guardiola's changed football. Ferguson hasn't changed football.
Yeah.
Ferguson changed football multiple times.
That gazumps. No, because I think in terms of, I agree with you in terms of enjoying a game of football, because what you enjoy about a game of football is 2 teams really having a go at each other, and possibly you definitely could argue to the detriment of football. There's such control with what Guardiola does.
Yeah.
But you have teams like a couple of years ago, like Swindon Town in like League 2 were playing like Just the most, they were doing 1,000 passes a game. And again, right or for wrong.
Under Jody Morris, he got sacked.
No, it wasn't. It was someone else, Ben Garner or something like that. But I think he changed,
in multiple countries as well.
Do you know the other thing here with
I think it's easier to win a treble
in terms of changing
Easier to win a
football.
treble.
Yeah. The fact that you're going to retain it. It's also, can I just flag this? You're not going to like it, but one of them did it without 115 charges.
Let's talk about the treble in Spain. Then.
How can you have?
There was no backhanders with Fergie or anything like that, was there?
I don't know, were there?
Well, yeah,
Tom knows. Tom Garrett knows.
Use your
Tom Garrett
brain.
knows. The FA never did, and the FA never brought any charges, but Garrett knows.
I know you're upset with my Alex placement, but how you can have Klopp at the bottom of your board? Like, there are some stinking decisions on other people's boards.
No, because everybody else is.
Why Mourinho
How
over
can you
Klopp?
possibly say Klopp?
Yeah, spot on, Garrett.
Yeah, me too.
How can you possibly
I
say
think it's
Klopp
like, for me, it's like that. For me, the middle one's obvious, third, and then you got two at the bottom, you got two at the top.
It's not.
On with James and
Jose Mourinho is clearly a worse manager than Jurgen Klopp right now. Like,
Not in his prime.
Not in his prime.
You say Mourinho?
He's saying he's worse than Mourinho. Clearly worse than Mourinho.
Porto, Inter, Chelsea, coming
I'm talking about
Sir Alex Ferguson.
Vibes are great with Klopp, but with Mourinho, he went and won.
I think we need to do that first video again. Your issue with this is that Jose Mourinho is above Klopp.
The Porto
Mourinho's
story.
miles above Klopp.
The Inter story.
I don't think Mourinho is miles above Klopp whatsoever. I genuinely.
You want a treble in it?
It's less enjoyable. I get that, but like,
if we're talking primes at peak,
one more.
Mourinho's arguably top.
I still don't know why people. Klopp has been at these clubs 7 years. Like, Mourinho is incapable of staying anywhere.
Yeah, because he's so successful, he goes somewhere else.
Sacked by Roma. He's just been. I love Mourinho more than anyone.
Why do you pick on Roma at the back end of his career? Why do you talk about he left Inter Milan after the back of winning the treble? He went to Real Madrid.
Yeah, why don't you bring up Porto? Why don't you bring up Inter Milan?
Chelsea.
You bring up Roma.
All right.
Why are you talking about mine?
I'm going to have to end it there, lads. I'm going to have to end it there. We're going to give 6 points. I can't believe I'm going to say this. We're going to give 6 points to Rory.
I don't think there's any need for that little sentence before it.
That was Bob.
Yeah, that was
unnecessary.
I can't believe I'm going to say it. I'm going to fall off my chair. Rory just going to say it.
I'm going to have to give, I think, 5 points to Beavy.
Yeah.
For what? What for?
For knowledge, mate.
Very well.
Football knowledge?
Knowledge,
Got
mate.
some of it there.
For knowledge, mate.
I'm going to give 3 points to Tom.
Unbelievable.
Henry, mate, I love you so much.
Yeah.
You know I do.
Yeah.
James, you're getting 2 points.
Yeah, I was quiet.
Henna's, that's 1 point, which does mean you're on 4.
I will say I wasn't really thinking about the Sir Alex thing, but I decided to go for it anyway.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, Henry.
Cheers, guys. I've been Henry.
Score to the doors right now. Leading the pack, Rory Jennings.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Rory's winning.
I can't believe it. I can't believe you just said that.
Second place is James on 8 points. And drawing for third is Tom and Beavy with 7.
Sorry, Mom.
Joint last.
Joint last, exactly. Joint third. Depending on how you look at it. Okay, the question for this one, lads. Who has been the worst summer signing?
Oh, I know the answer.
All right. 3, 2, 1. 2 Havertzes, a Tonali, and a Jordan Henderson. Okay, Mr. Jordan Henderson.
I mean, you could spin this a couple of ways, actually, to be fair. I mean, has he made a lot of money? We don't know, which is kind of, let's be honest, that's why he went.
Doesn't get the tax. He gets taxed to bring it back to England.
Because taxed on probably what?
No, you went there to change the culture.
No, I know he did. Yeah.
From within. You didn't get it. What I'm doing is I'm going there, I'm like infiltrating.
Well, let's follow that road. He's failed in that, hasn't he? Because he's now moved over to Ajax, which is a massive gear change from football in Saudi Arabia to something as pure as Ajax. Look, I guess Liverpool will be kind of happy with this, but for Jordan Henderson, in terms of his sort of status within Liverpool, status within the country, status amongst all groups, it's been an utter disaster for him. But he has made a bit of money.
Okay. The Havertz duo over here.
Yeah, this is easy for me. I think there are obviously transfers that Chelsea have made, for example, more money, but £65 million for a side that was so close to winning the league last season. you could argue if that money had been spent on a player that gave them the right impetus. Look at Man United. They came second one season. They signed Robin van Persie for 30 million quid, and it catapulted them. So that's 65 million quid. I even think save it and keep it in the bank for a big January transfer. Keep Emil Smith-Rowe in the side. He was fantastic last night for Arsenal as well. So this Kai Havertz signing is so symbolic. It slows the side down. It makes them less believing in their own philosophy, in my opinion. And he's a bit of a Chelsea reject. It kind of keeps Arsenal in this small club mentality.
Yeah, I think Boofy's correct with it here. I think a lot of what he said is bang on. And if you think about the money involved, £65 million should have been the difference for Arsenal to win the league, particularly when you think about the team that they thought they were going up against, Man City. Some of the signings that they made didn't work out. You know, Mateus Nunes hasn't really landed. Mateo Kovacic hasn't really landed. So there should have actually been a little chink in the armour and a reason for Arsenal to go to the next level. You then have to factor in £300,000.
We're going a bit heavy on the Arsenal thing.
£300,000
just
a
brought
week.
up two names who've barely kicked a ball. My player can't kick a ball. They've spent 50 odd million on him, and now Newcastle can't even buy anyone because of FFP, the money they've spent on him. So they've got no players. They're all exhausted. At least Havertz has contributed. Yeah. He scored winners in games. At the end of the season, those could be points that possibly win Arsenal.
But you're talking about external factors.
Wait.
Fantastic player, man.
Whereas Mateus Nunes, they've spent, and Tonali, they've spent all that money and they physically cannot help the team. At least Havertz has contributed slightly. I don't think he's brilliant, and I do think he'd be a good.
He has made them worse. They were a better team with Xhaka. They were a better team with Xhaka in the middle.
Yeah, I agree, but at least he has contributed.
They've dropped off. They signed him, and now they're worse in the league. They've got less points at this point of the season, and they're fourth or whatever.
But I think they were overachieving last season. This season, they're not a million miles off the title race. Just overall, the performances aren't that great. Whereas 100%. You look at both of ours, Newcastle, other injuries as well, but they have fallen off a cliff after Tonali, a gamble that went wrong. And Jordan Henderson, I don't think got a point out there.
Nice point.
Thanks.
The reason why I say it's worse is because of what it was supposed to do. You have to bring in the expectation.
So Jordan Henderson
Jordan Henderson went for a payday. Like he didn't. This was supposed to win the league. The expectation on this was supposed to.
Did anyone in this room think that was going to be an amazing signing?
No, but Arteta did.
Yeah, he gambled a lot of money, mate, and it hasn't worked. They're worse.
Oh, you're talking about gambling a lot of money?
No. But I've done that, equally, the expectation on Tonali, this was the signing to win the league.
But that's a safer signing.
This was a marquee signing to propel Newcastle to be a giant.
But Tonali comes back, he's a better player. Tonali will come back and be a world-class player for Newcastle.
Tonali's likely to just go back to Milan next year.
Havertz isn't good enough. Simple as that. Tonali's wicked player.
Tonali was a mistake. It was a legitimate mistake. They couldn't have had all of the information. They didn't know that they were ultimately going to be shortchanged the way they were.
I think he's going to go back to Milan. I genuinely do.
Maybe, but basically it was a mistake from Newcastle. They didn't do their due diligence. They had data on him. We were telling them it was terrible.
He still contributed. He scored winning goals this season.
Against Luton Town.
No, that was Declan Rice.
In the 6 months, in the 6 months of what it is since those.
There you go, Rory. Give me another hand.
all we can go on is the 6 months that these guys have been at the clubs, right?
Yeah.
Havertz has done the most out of these three.
No, but he's done the least in terms of what he's supposed to do.
He's done by far the most.
And he's hurt. And he's also hurt the club the least. He's hurt the club the least.
James, you can't compare what Havertz has done to him compared to what Henderson has done.
He's more expensive than your players combined.
Henderson, he could have gone there and won games for them. That's what he was going there to do, and change minds.
James, you were right. Henderson is a disastrous moment. But it came with no expectation.
Did they win a game, did they?
He went to Saudi.
I mean, they didn't win any.
It would be like me going, Kalidou Koulibaly. I don't know, maybe it was terrible, maybe it was. Like, this was supposed to win the league. That was supposed to be a payday.
I don't think people think that. I also think you can sell him on. I think you can sell him on quite easily.
Lads, they bottled the league last season.
They can't do anything with this bloke.
He's not allowed to play.
Arsenal bottled the league last season, so their next signing is to take them to the next level. They spent 247 days top of the table.
The Robin van Persie analogy is true.
Signing as well. It wasn't just. You're saying Havertz was the only signing to take Arsenal to win the title.
To make them more dynamic going forward. Timber was a signing. I think he'll be fantastic defensively for cover. And a few other examples, but going forward to make them more dynamic, to win games in the final 10 minutes, Havertz was signed for that reason.
But everyone knew it was a risk.
Lot of money, and crucially, they put him on £300,000 a week.
300 grand, Garrett.
Oh yeah, well.
Okay, time. Really well battled there, lads. I think it's actually very tough to make this decision.
We kind of went two on two.
I nearly gave you a nudge.
I'm going to be giving my 4 points, the most amount of points, to James.
Get in.
I like the answer. It's out of there as well.
Cheers, Jordan.
I'm going to be giving 3 points to Tom.
Yes! See you later, Boob.
Yeah, he didn't even fight.
2 points goes to Rory. Beef. I'm
I think last for that.
That feels
Actually,
So harsh.
you know what? I'll give you the 2 points and Rory can get the 1, but it does still mean you.
championship. That could be the title.
Stick to it.
Stick to the
Makes it
original.
hard for him in the next
No, Quizmaster, don't let them scupper your
Hang on.
original thing.
Why have you done that?
Because actually, when I was saying it then, I thought Boovy started the conversation about Havertz well, and then Rory just came in and went, yeah, I agree. Which, to be fair, that also is just whoever starts first. To be fair, it is what it is. But that does mean that there is just 2 points into this. Our next question, lads. Rank these players. There are 6 of them.
Ooh.
Sergio Aguero, Wayne Rooney, Luis Suarez, Didier Drogba, Thierry Henry, and Harry Kane.
This is horrible.
This is very hard.
Do you know what? I get hammered for this, but I'm doing it again.
It's so difficult because there's a player that I rate so highly that I have to put almost.
Well, they're 6 of the best, aren't they, really?
3, 2, 1, reveal. Henry, Rooney, Aguero is 4th, Aguero is 5th, Aguero is 3rd, Suarez bottom, so oh my God. Both of you got Suarez bottom. You two are quite similar. You two are, I mean, you've got Henry at the...
Yeah, just
chat away,
Drogba
lads,
and
chat
Aguero,
away.
The other way around. I mean, I'll lead.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to clean this up.
Henry is the best Premier League footballer of all time, in my opinion, so
Agreed.
he has to go at the top. Rooney's not far off him, and there's an all-round package and longevity, and the age he came into the league was just absurd. And even at Everton, when he was way past his best, was still scoring, and still their best player. Aguero, he's got the best goals per game record in Premier history, and was actually underrated outside of scoring. Could dribble, could drop in, could shoot from range. I've got Drogba 4th because I just think what Drogba could do as a sole striker. Not many players have done that in the Premier League for a team that dominated as well. Sacrificed himself in terms of goals for the sake of people like Lampard and others who would score.
Can I change one?
Me off.
I'll make one change.
And actually, Drogba's best season scored 29 goals in 31 games, which showed he can do that if he needed to or wanted to.
We
but
won the
again,
double as well, Dave.
Sacrificed himself. For the likes of Anelka, Malouda, Drogba was a very selfless player, similar to Rooney. Like the one season Rooney had scoring 30 goals. He could do that if he needed to. Kane 5th because, look, his goal record's insane, but I do think we need to take into consideration finals and just doing it at the top level like Drogba did, and Aguero, Rooney, Henry. Suarez 6th only for the basis he was there a year and a half, and look, it was unbelievable, was it 31 in 33, but like Drogba got a similar to that in a season and was there for 10 plus years and won multiple trophies. Suarez never won anything in his time in the Prem.
Okay, James, what you took like a bit of an annoyance with one of them there.
Yeah.
And what did you change as well?
So the change I've made is, so I've gone Henry, Rooney...
Aguero last!
Yes, I'll get there. Calm down, take a breath, you've had your bit. Henry, Rooney, Kane, Suarez, Drogba and Aguero. Now, this is very difficult, but when I'm piecing it together, it's a few different things. I think it's longevity. I look at it differently, and I'm disappointed in you, Tom. I would imagine as an underdog fan, West Brom, generally in this space, you would see that what Kane has achieved at Tottenham is outrageous.
Yeah, I do agree
and
with that. I do
the
agree
final
with that.
thing is where I gasp, because the final thing is a nonsense, and it's a nonsense
I know.
because it's Tottenham playing against one of the greatest Liverpool sides that there's ever been, and he's coming back and he's not fit. People go, well, don't play then. You go, shut up. Kane's always going to play in that final.
Yeah.
And they were also undone in the first 5 minutes by a stupid handball. So you can't put all of that on Kane. In terms of...
I'm not, but can I just quickly say what I meant by that is you can't ignore the fact Drogba did it in 10 plus finals and won, whereas Kane hasn't. So Kane's amazing, but that's the only reason I'd edge it Drogba.
I understand that. The reason Drogba went down for me is the consistent ability to be prolific. And that is the reason, but the reason why he's above Aguero, who's miles more prolific than Drogba, is that, and people hate this, all Man City fans hate this, and I get it, but I can't help how I feel. He was playing for a Man City side that would allow him chance after chance after chance after chance. And if Harry Kane was in that Man City team, he would score more goals. I think Suarez would score as many. Rooney is a more well-rounded player than a lot of these guys on this list. And Drogba in finals is a joke. And so for that reason, I always end up coming back on who would I pick if I'm picking teams, and I would pick Drogba ahead of Aguero.
But the Aguero one doesn't make. He's got the best goals per 90 in Premier League. Like, he was an elite. He didn't need 100 chances.
Do you know what?
Suarez did actually. Suarez did need multiple chances. Suarez wasn't a prolific finisher.
But he was also playing in a team where he had to go and create those chances himself as well. And you yourself in the first round was going on about Salah and the goals that he scored, and you were kind of discounting that because it's not all about that. It's about Hazard. It's about those footballers. And it's about other things as well. So
Suarez is a better footballer. Suarez is a better footballer than probably everyone on this list if we're being their careers, but just in the Premier League era, you have to take into account.
It was almost like the beginning of it that launched it.
It's how little he was there. It's how little he was there. You just you can't have him.
I don't mind you dropping him down for that, but I'd have to pick him over Aguero. I think he's everywhere.
I'm the only one. I think with Suarez, the reason he's bottom isn't because I don't rate him.
Yeah,
he's bottom. He's bottom just because he's bottom because of how long he was here. Yeah. And I think he has to be bottom when you look at who he's up against. If we were talking about maybe the best striker on the list, it would be a different order. If we were talking about the best single season.
So if it's a time period, then Kane should be higher, shouldn't he?
The problem, I was very.
Because all these do have longevity.
I found Kane and Aguero really difficult. I found Kane and Aguero really difficult because I rate Kane so highly, but I found it impossible to put him above Aguero, just trophy haul. I know, but it's...
Trophy haul's not fair.
But at some
He's playing
point,
in a crap team.
At some point, it has to come into it.
It does.
And also, he wasn't always playing in a crap team. As Tottenham fans will tell you, they were the best team over 2 calendar years.
And also,
wasn't a crap team.
Aguero was signed before they won the title. Correct?
Oh, yeah, I was there.
So he propelled them to win a league title. Come on, he did.
He did.
But Man City
because we were meant to sign him.
You can't take that away. And his goal per game record is unbelievable.
Do you know? I remember I was at Atletico's old ground. We played him in the Champions League, and he scored 2 against us. One of them, it was a volley, and you know when you can see it dropping, you just like it was an amazing away end. It was like totally open air, and he hit it, and it went straight. The second it left his foot, you knew it was in. And we all basically went, we got to sign him. This is it. Like, we got to sign him, and we didn't.
Does Aguero score as many goals in the Tottenham team, or do any of these other players score the same amount of goals?
No, that's a great argument.
That matters.
But I don't think. But Kane wouldn't score the goals Aguero did for City because Kane wouldn't play that way.
I think he would. I think he would
because he'd want to drop in. He'd want to get
Kane
involved.
would have scored more.
But Aguero doesn't mind staying.
I reckon
Kane would have scored the goals Haaland scores because Kane doesn't play that way.
Kane would have scored more than Haaland.
I think they would play differently.
Huh?
I reckon Kane would have scored more than Haaland.
He wouldn't because he would never play the way Haaland does.
Play on the last shoulder.
I think Haaland...
He wouldn't have the responsibility.
When would Kane ever play? He does. That's how he should play for England, and he doesn't. He wants to drop in and get involved. Just stay in the box and finish it.
But who's a more natural goal scorer, Kane or Haaland?
Kane.
So if he's in the box, his movement will be better, and he'll create scores, and he's a better finisher as well.
He wouldn't be in the box as much as Haaland because he'd be f***ing about on the halfway line trying to play passes in behind.
I'm surprised. The only things that kind of
really
differ.
Top.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Over Henry?
Yeah.
The answer's always Henry.
No, but I don't think it's a given like that.
I know what you do. Your thing is the final thing with Henry, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what you don't like about him.
I think it's important though, because when we're judging players of this quality, we have to look for something to separate them.
Right.
And Thierry Henry, when it really mattered for Arsenal, he wasn't a big game player.
What about in massive games when he's ran half the length of the pitch to score? Like
when you say massive, that's a North London derby. Yeah, it's massive. It's massive.
Why does it matter if it's just got a title of a final?
Because playing Tottenham, although it's big for them, it's not a big game. They're playing.
Of course, that's a big game. It's a massive game.
It's not in terms of opposition. It's like when Chelsea play QPR. It's a big game for us.
What about all the goals against United, Chelsea?
Do you know what I'd say? The thing with Henry, right, and you look at all these guys, different eras, right? When you think of the best and the rest, Henry at his best. I think maybe aside from Ronaldo in his best years, he's the furthest away from the next best in the league at that time. I think with Rooney wasn't even the best player in his team.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because Ronaldo was there.
And also, going back to what you said about the way it makes you feel, no one's made me feel the way Henry did, like, oh my God, Henry's playing today. When he comes to the Hawthorns, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to see Henry live.
Yeah, but this is...
Don't get me wrong, those are Rooney did a bit... Yeah, none of these players have made me feel like that even remotely, to be honest. Rooney, because he was England's star, but Henry was like, oh my God, I'm going to see Henry.
If you're tapping into the emotion
and he did it every week, no matter what.
If you're tapping into the emotion of it, if you're tapping into the way that he looked on the pitch, incredibly handsome, looked beautiful, the va-va-voom
and
thing.
the 20 goals, 20 assists and all that, and winning Invincible, league titles, cups.
But equally, you're talking about the flair, aren't you? You're talking about the beauty with which he plays.
The arrogance, yeah. He's the best.
If you're bringing that
Should have won
emotion,
a Ballon d'Or
if you're
twice.
bringing that emotion into it, then it's Henry. But I think just for sheer consistency, for sheer brilliance, through relentlessness, that team that was built by Ferguson, where Rooney was the jewel in the crown through
It's not true,
07,
though.
08, 09.
He wasn't, though.
Why not?
Ronaldo was.
Part of the reason why Ronaldo was able to be so brilliant
I
was
agree.
because Wayne Rooney was on
but
the
he
pitch.
still wasn't the star.
He was a bit of a water carrier in comparison.
All right, stop. Stop. Okay, lads.
Absolutely not.
Okay, the points.
Absolutely not.
Water carrier.
The points are being given. I'm giving 3 points to Tom.
Yeah,
It was
come on,
really
man.
good.
Really- yeah.
I will then be giving
The tie.
2 points to James and 1 point to Rory, which means that Tom and Rory are drawing. But because Rory got higher points later on in the round, Rory goes through to the final.
Good luck,
Mate,
mate.
it's been a pleasure.
Well done,
Well
mate.
done.
Well played.
Okay.
Victory for the establishment, Rory, there. Come on.
All right, on to the final then, lads. James Alcott, JLA, versus RJ Rory Jennings in the final. Out of all the Premier League managers this season, who's got the toughest job? 3, 2, 1, reveal. Sean Dyche, Nuno Espirito Santo. Wow, okay, didn't expect that one. Why so?
So the reason I've gone for Nuno is because he has stepped into a club where they are likely to get a points deduction. That makes life very difficult for them. They have too many players. Steve Cooper said himself that he had the guy Montiel who'd won the World Cup for them in the squad, couldn't get him on the training pitch because he's got too many players, because they've spent too much money, which leads to the points deduction. Despite all of that and the poor football that they've played, he's still got the sack. And you've brought in Nuno Espirito Santo, whose brand and stock is incredibly low right now. So the points deduction, that's difficult. The squad doesn't hold on to the ball, isn't great, it's okay in counter-attacking, but aside from that, isn't that exciting to watch. There's the pressure of that crowd there, and you've got a manager there who this group of fans will turn on him incredibly quickly, because if he doesn't do better than Steve Cooper, a guy that they loved who got the sack, then he's got no chance.
I've gone Sean Dyche. I just think that he's really up against it. When you think of the footsteps that he's following in, the club, in terms of, this old Sir Alex Ferguson quote, pick your owner, don't pick your club. Working at Everton, it feels like a baptism of fire. Like arguably the greatest manager ever, Carlo Ancelotti, couldn't make it work there. Working in the shadow of Farhad Moshiri is virtually impossible. Then, on top of it all, on top of the ridiculous spend that they've done, the fact that they spent £500 million and basically got worse in 5 years, they've then had a points deduction, and they are probably going to get another one. I think he is so up against it. The only thing that is going in his favour is the fact that he's got the Gladys Street on side. He's got Evertonians on side. Goodison, when it's going, could potentially keep them up. But they're a team that we've seen over the past 3 years that could and possibly should have gone down every single year. He's then gone in there, and on top of everything else, he's having to pay for the mistakes that have been made. Like following in from Frank Lampard is never going to be easy. So I think that Sean Dyche has gone in there. He's basically on a hiding to nothing, and he's doing very well.
Do you know what's really important in this, and this is why it's Nuno for me, is the fact that with Sean Dyche, you've got someone who's got, he's been there long enough, he's done well enough, and he's got buy-in. He's got buy-in from the players, and he's got buy-in from the fans as well. You don't have that with Nuno. There will be a large amount of that fan base, and it's not about it being a Nottingham Forest thing, it's just about it kind of being a Nuno thing, who at Wolves did well, but they got sick of it because it was boring. And then he's gone to Tottenham, obviously stock was there as well. The story is in him being not up to it. And he has not got the buy-in from the fans.
When Nuno Espirito Santo was first in there, I thought that the way that the Forest fans reacted to him was fairly positively, considering how much they love Cooper. They beat Manchester United early in his tenure. And, there's a guy called Daniel Taylor who writes in The Guardian who's a Forest fan, and he said this is the first time that we've actually felt like a Premier League club. So I did feel that there was some sort of...
But I think you have to. I think you've got a new manager, it's done now, you've got to kind of go with it. That happens time and again. I think with Sean Dyche, the other thing, Everton have played really well this year. They played really, really well. They got done by Man United and got kind of unlucky in that game. Garnacho scores that crazy goal, but otherwise they created a lot of chances. They're very functional.
Them playing
in that
well, though,
way.
them playing well isn't relevant to who has the hardest job.
I think it does, because I think if the wheels, if the machine's moving, then you've got a better chance of getting points. And he's got the players and the profile of players that he wants for what he wants to create. Nuno has this bizarrely huge pool, and when you talk about owners, I think his owner's a bit naughty as well.
Also, 10 points already, 10 points possibly to come.
Yeah.
Both might get reduced.
It's not easy. Okay, all right, ending it there. Two very good shouts, I think. Two very good shouts for manager. The winning points and the person who will be winning the show tonight.
And taking the prize of what's the prize?
Taking the prize of pride.
Yeah.
And an Evian.
Yeah. And you can take an Evian bottle as well. Is James Alcott. Oh. I'm really sorry, Rory. I'm really sorry. His final comments about obviously Everton playing well at the moment, actually, which might mean that it's a little bit easier to digest, I think, has taken it for him.
Yeah, that was a good one. Good final.
The other boys that are off camera, everybody here, all their links will be down below. Thank you so much to all of them for joining me. Make sure you go check out their channels on all platforms as well. That was really, really good. Rory and James, well battled in particular. All right, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.